Video number 2 on speeding things up. Last video I talked about speeding up fat loss by slowing down caloric intake and speeding up caloric expenditure, because there is no fat burn switch. There's no food or exercise program you have to buy into in order to make something happen that isn't already happening. And the same thing is with muscle. Every single day you have both an anabolic process that's building you up and a catabolic process that's breaking you down, working back and forth, same time, and it's the ratio between these two things that are going on. So what we want to do, if you want to speed up how fast you're building muscle, or at least slow down how much you're losing, you want to speed up the anabolic process, slow down the catabolic process. And generally, loosely categorizing, catabolic is stress, anabolic is recovery. So we got our catabolic, I'll put a little C there. Catabolic stress, this is working out, walking, time under tension, in the classic muscle building strategies. A workout is a catabolic process. It breaks you down a little bit through stress. And this includes all other forms of stress too. Okay, so if your diet is not very good, you've got a very harsh diet, you're overeating a lot, you're eating a ton, that's catabolic. Your sleep really sucks, you're catabolic. You've got all this stuff breaking you down. Mental and emotional stress is also catabolic. All right, back about 10 years ago, I went through a rough patch in my life, tons of stress. Muscle was dropping off me like crazy. Even though my diet and exercise was pretty dialed in, I couldn't keep muscle on my frame to save my life because all of that other stress was going through my system and I was breaking down. So on the other side of the coin, we got anabolic, recovery, rest, getting good food, that sort of thing. Now, the big lesson here that is interesting is that things can be both anabolic or catabolic depending on the ratio. Like, for example, food. As I mentioned earlier, if you're not eating enough or your nutrition is not very good, then it can be a catabolic situation. But if you get enough and the quality is better, it's going to be more anabolic. However, if you overeat and you're stressing yourself out by overeating, now it's catabolic again. Same thing with rest, like sleep. I always struggle to get enough sleep because I'm here at the gym like 12, 13 hours a day, up early, home late, right? So whenever I go on vacation, like I just went down to Florida, visited my parents, and for that week, I felt more anabolic because I was getting enough sleep. But there are some folks out there who are getting so much sleep and then they're just napping and lounging around and they're hardly doing anything with their body. They're resting so much, they're not telling their body it needs to be stronger. And now that rest is actually becoming catabolic. Same thing with your workout. It's a slight catabolic activity, breaks you down a little bit, but it kickstarts an anabolic process. It says, oh, you need to build up to be bigger and stronger and so forth. But if you're working out way too much and you don't have enough recovery, it's a catabolic process that just drives you down into the ground. So generally, again, stress is catabolic, recovery is anabolic, but the recovery is only anabolic to the degree at which your stress requires you to build back up. So you need the balance between these two things. So if you're trying to build muscle, it could be one of two things. Number one, you don't have enough recovery. You're stressing out all the time. You're not eating good food. You're working out like crazy. You're just driving yourself into the ground. Or you're over-recovered, you're just resting, lounging around, sitting around all the time, eating too much and stuff, and you're not really getting much activity to kickstart yourself into a higher anabolic process. One or the other. You either need more of this or a little more of this. I'll leave it to you to know which one that you need, but if you have questions, leave them down below, please. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Till then, be fit, live free.